Hello everybody, my name is Will Crockett, and welcome back to my series on drawing New Mexico's ecosystems. Today I'm drawing the new MCON site that the LitVac lab and the UNM Biology Department studies. This site was started in 2011 after the Las Conchas fire and was used to replace the old MCON site. It's at a similar elevation and consists of a similar ecosystem to the original MCON site. But because it was not burned down in the fire, all of the trees that are there are still standing. And it gives us a very valuable way to compare the old MCON site to this site to see what happened after the fire and what impacts it had on the ecosystem, as well as things like water infiltration and atmospheric exchange between the ecosystem and atmosphere. Here you can see me drawing in an aspen tree. The site has quite diverse amounts of trees, many spruce, fir, and pine trees, as well as aspen trees. It's also quite a diversity of plants and wildflowers at these sites. Things like Indian paintbrush, harebells, wild strawberries, and wild onions. Many animals also make this their home. We've found bear tracks, seen many different types of songbirds, seen coyotes nearby. This site feels more like quintessential mountain forest. You can also see that there's some piles on the ground. This was taken in summer of 2021, and a few months before this, the Forest Service had come through the area and thinned the forest, creating these burn piles that were burned in the winter of 2021. When we think back to the MCON site, we can see why this thinning may be important to avoid future wildfire outbreaks. They hope by thinning the forest and burning it by hand, they can avoid fires hot enough to kill all of the more mature adult trees. While it can be sad and kind of gruesome to see the many cut down trees laid out before you, take into account the alternative is important to realize why this kind of process is important. The goal of the LitVac lab isn't to study perfect, pristine ecosystems, but to study the ecosystems that we have today, and that has to include the role that humans play in these ecosystems. The constant monitoring and measuring the LitVac lab does on these ecosystems means it's possible to understand what impacts this clearing can have on the ecosystem's exchange with the atmosphere, and give us a better idea of what we can do to fight wildfires and understand the impacts that our tools could create. You can see I'm also drawing in small juniper bushes on the ground and filling in those burn piles to show the many logs that they consist of. In the summer, many mushroom species pop up at these sites as well. We found Amanita muscaria and other interesting mushroom species. And there are many deer that live off the plants, mushrooms at these sites.